Welcome back to ZE Coins, your go-to spot for all things coins and currency. In today's video, we've got a super exciting topic, something that could make you a lot of money if you happen to have one in your collection. We're diving into the fascinating world of the 1976 no-mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny and how it could be worth a mind-blowing $1 million. Now, let's set the stage. When we think of pennies, the 1976 Lincoln 1-cent coin usually isn't something that stands out, right? After all, it's one of those regular coins that you probably pass by all the time without a second thought. But what if I told you there's a rare version of the 1976 penny that could fetch you a whopping $1 million on the market today? Yeah, you heard that right. We're talking about the 1976 Lincoln penny without a mint mark. But here's where things get a little more interesting. Normally, you'd find a small D or S mint mark on the reverse side of the Lincoln penny, indicating where it was struck, either Denver or San Francisco. The 1976 penny is no different, except when it is, in 1976, the U.S. Mint released two types of pennies, one made in Denver and one made in San Francisco. Both had mint marks indicating their origin. But in a very rare twist of fate, a small batch of pennies were struck without a mint mark. These are the ones that could change your life. So, you're probably asking yourself, what makes the 1976 no-mint mark penny worth so much money? Well, let me explain. First off, the absence of a mint mark is a huge deal. In the world of coin collecting, even the smallest error or variation can drastically increase a coin's value. Coins that were struck with a minting error, or coins that have certain peculiarities, like missing mint marks, are often considered error coins, and collectors will pay a premium for them. The 1976 no-mint mark penny falls into this category, and here's the kicker. There are only a few known examples of this penny, which makes it incredibly rare. The rarity, combined with the coin's historical significance, it was minted during America's bicentennial year, makes it a holy grail for many collectors. Now, I know what you're thinking. How much is it worth exactly? Well, the market for error coins like this one is very dynamic, but certain sales and estimates suggest that some of these rare pennies have been auctioned for over $1 million. Yes, million with an M. Alright, now that you know these rare 1976 no-mint mark pennies could be worth big money, let's talk about how to identify one if you happen to have one. Don't worry, it's actually pretty easy once you know what to look for. The key thing to remember is that this coin is going to have absolutely no mint mark on the reverse side. As you can see, regular 1976 pennies will have either the D or S mint marks, but in this rare case, you'll find none. Make sure to closely examine the reverse side of the coin where the mint mark should appear, just beneath the E pluribus unum phrase and above the date. Now, it's important to note that this rare 1976 no mint mark penny is different from a typical no mint mark coin. The coin was actually minted at the Philadelphia Mint, but the mint failed to add the mint mark, resulting in a rare and valuable error. This is why some collectors refer to it as a mint error or a mule coin SO. How did this happen? Well, the short answer is human error. Let's take a quick dive into the history of coin production in 1976. This year was especially busy because it marked the United States bicentennial celebration. The U.S. Mint produced a lot of special coins, including the famous bicentennial quarter with its reverse design celebrating America's 200th anniversary. However, in the midst of all this activity, the Mint's operations weren't perfect. During production in Philadelphia, some coins were struck without their mint marks. The result? A small batch of pennies, which weren't supposed to be mint markless, were released into circulation. It wasn't noticed right away, but once collectors caught wind of it, these coins became extremely sought after. It's also worth noting that only a few of these no-mint mark pennies exist, and that rarity has made them very valuable. In fact, many experts believe that this specific error could be one of the rarest coins ever produced by the U.S. Mint. Now that you know how rare and unique this coin is, let's talk about the money part. How much could it really be worth? The value of a 1976 no-mint mark penny can vary depending on factors like condition, the auction market, and whether it's been graded by a professional grading service. Generally, these coins are valued at hundreds of thousands of dollars at auction, but if you're lucky enough to own one in mint condition, you might just find it being sold for over $1 million. Some of the highest sales have been at prestigious auction houses like Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers. At one point, an authenticated and well-preserved example of the 1976 no-mint mark penny was sold for around $1 million. It's important to remember that these prices are for the best specimens, the ones that are in near-perfect condition, with minimal wear and no significant damage. If you have a 1976 penny without a mint mark, the first thing you should do is have it professionally graded. A coin grading company will examine the coin for its quality, authenticity, and rarity, giving it a grade that can determine its value. So, what do you do if you think you've found one of these rare pennies? First of all, don't spend it as regular currency. It might be worth a fortune. If you think you have a 1976 no mint mark penny, there are a few steps you can take. Examine the coin closely. Check the reverse side for the missing mint mark. Get it graded. Have a professional grading service evaluate your coin. The higher the grade, the more it could be worth. Consult a coin expert. If you're unsure about its authenticity, reach out to a reputable coin dealer or numismatist. Consider auctioning it. If your coin is in great condition, consider selling it at a major auction house to get top dollar. Remember, error coins can be tricky, so always get expert advice before taking any action. Alright, coin enthusiasts, that's everything you need to know about the 1976 no mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny and its potential to make you a millionaire. Who knew a simple penny could be worth so much, right? If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about rare coins, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you never miss out on future content. Also, drop a comment below if you think you might have a rare 1976 no mint mark penny in your collection. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Until next time, keep searching, keep collecting, and remember, every penny could be worth more than you think. Today, we're diving into one of the most fascinating and rare pennies ever produced by the U.S. Mint. You may have seen it in your pocket change or in old coin collections, the 1980 D. Lincoln 1-cent penny. But what you may not know is that this particular penny could be worth a mind-blowing $2 million or more in today's market. Stick around, because in this video, we'll uncover everything you need to know about this rare coin and why it's so valuable. Now, you're probably thinking, a penny? Worth $2 million? That's got to be some kind of myth or rumor, right? Well, let me assure you, this is absolutely real. The 1980 D. Lincoln penny is not just a regular coin. It's one of the most intriguing and sought-after errors in modern coinage history. So, what exactly makes the 1980 D penny so special? Let's start with a little history. The D in the mint mark stands for the Denver Mint, where these pennies were produced. But unlike most pennies from that era, there was a huge mistake in the way some of these pennies were struck, making them extremely rare and valuable. Between 1979 and 1981, the U.S. Mint was cranking out billions of pennies to meet public demand. In 1980 alone, more than 7 billion pennies were struck. However, during the striking process, something went wrong at the Denver Mint. A batch of 1980 D pennies was struck with a very noticeable error, which, in the world of numismatics, is a big deal. The error involves the placement and depth of the mint mark, which caused some of the pennies to be struck in an unusual way. Essentially, the die used to stamp the mint mark became worn out, causing the D to appear off-center and much larger than it was intended to be. While this might sound like a small mistake, it's actually a game-changer for collectors. Imagine finding a penny that looks just like the one in your pocket, but its mint mark is either misaligned, doubled, or even larger than usual. That's what happened with this batch of 1980 D coins. And when it happens, these coins become incredibly rare. Out of the billions of pennies produced in 1980, only a small fraction of these error coins survived. That's why they're so highly sought after today. In fact, some of these rare 1980 D Lincoln pennies have sold for hundreds of thousands of dollars, and in extreme cases, they've reached nearly $2 million at auction. Now, you might be wondering, why are these error pennies worth so much? The answer lies in their rarity and demand. Coin collectors, also known as numismatists, are always on the lookout for errors in coins, and when they find one that's this rare and this valuable, it causes a frenzy in the market. And what's even crazier, the value of these pennies continues to rise over time. Let's talk about the specifics of these rare 1980 D pennies. Not all 1980 D pennies are worth millions, far from it. In fact, The majority of 1980 D coins are just your average pennies, and they're worth, well, a penny. However, if you happen to have one of the rare mint mark error varieties, you might be sitting on a gold mine. To help you identify whether you have a valuable 1980 D penny, here's what to look for. First, examine the mint mark carefully. The error typically shows up as an oversized D or a D that's noticeably off-center. In some cases, the mint mark will appear doubled or split, which can significantly increase the coin's value. But not all 1980 D error coins are created equal. The ones that fetch top dollar are those with the most extreme mint mark errors. You'll want to look for coins where the D is exceptionally large or has been doubled or misplaced in a way that's obvious to the naked eye. Another factor that determines value is the condition of the coin. In the world of numismatics, coin condition is crucial. The highest priced 1980 D pennies are those that are in mint state or uncirculated condition, which means they've never been in circulation and they still have that pristine shine. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin. For example, 1980 D penny in mint state 67 or higher could potentially fetch millions, especially if it has a noticeable mint mark error. To get an idea of how valuable these coins can be, let's look at some examples. In 2022, a rare 1980 D Lincoln penny with an extreme mint mark error sold for over $1.5 million at auction. That's no small change for a penny. And as we move into 2024, the market for rare coins like the 1980 D penny is only heating up. More and more collectors are realizing the value of these error coins, and the demand is pushing prices even higher. Okay, so now you're probably wondering, how can you tell if your 1980 D penny is worth money? The first step is to carefully examine the coin. Look at the mint mark, check for any signs of doubling or misalignment, and make sure to check the overall condition. If you find something unusual, don't throw it away. It might be worth more than you think. Once you've identified a potential rare coin, it's time to get it professionally graded by a trusted numismatic organization like the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, or Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC. These companies can help determine the exact value of your coin and authenticate its rarity. Now, before we wrap up, let's talk about the current market for these rare pennies. As of now, the price for a 1980 D Lincoln penny with a mint mark error can vary depending on its condition and the severity of the error. But rest assured, this is one of those rare coins that could go down in history as a major investment for collectors who have the right eye for detail. So, next time you're going through your pocket change or sorting through old coins, keep an eye out for that 1980 D Lincoln penny. You just might have a $2 million treasure hiding in your hands. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. I hope you found this video helpful in understanding the rarity and value of the 1980 D Lincoln penny. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss another exciting coin discovery. And remember, the next great treasure could be sitting in your wallet right now. Until next time, happy hunting and happy collecting. You're into numismatics or simply curious about coin collecting, you've come to the right place. Today, we're diving into one of the most fascinating coins in history, the 1981 Lincoln 1-cent penny, specifically a rare version with a mint mark that could make it worth up to $3 million. That's right. You might be thinking, a penny? Worth $3 million? That sounds too good to be true. But trust us, it's a real possibility, and in this video, we're going to explain how this coin can be so valuable, the story behind its rarity, and how you can tell if you have one of these extraordinary pennies in your possession. So, grab your magnifying glass, because we're about to uncover one of the most interesting coins you could ever find. First, let's take a quick look back at the Lincoln 1-cent penny. This iconic coin, featuring the image of President Abraham Lincoln, was introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. The coin has been a staple of American currency for more than a century, and its design has undergone several changes over the years. The 1981 penny was minted during an era when the U.S. Mint produced billions of pennies each year. But in 1981, something went wrong, something that made a small number of these coins very special. Now, let's talk about the 1981 penny's mint mark, which is at the heart of this incredible story. Most Lincoln pennies are stamped with a mint mark that tells us where they were produced, D for Denver, S for San Francisco, or no mark for Philadelphia. However, there was an unusual error made in the 1981 production. A small number of 1981 pennies were mistakenly minted with a rare, off-center S mint mark, the mark used for coins minted in San Francisco. This error happened because some coins meant to be minted in Philadelphia, where the P mint mark would typically be, were accidentally struck with the S mark, leading to a handful of these coins being produced under unusual circumstances. This unique error has led collectors to call it the 1981 S mint mark Lincoln penny. But here's the kicker. This is not just a typical error coin that is worth a little more than face value. No, this error penny could actually be worth millions of dollars today. How is this penny worth so much? Well, in 1981, these S mint mark pennies were extremely rare. However, they didn't get much attention at first. It wasn't until years later, in the 1990s, when the true rarity of these coins was uncovered. Numismatists and coin collectors began to realize that only a few of these 1981 S pennies existed, and they were worth far more than their face value. One of these rare pennies, discovered in the mid-2000s, was graded by the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, as a perfect specimen, earning it a score of 67 out of 70. This coin was subsequently sold at auction for a mind-blowing $3 million. That's right, a single penny, worth just 1 cent when it was minted, sold for $3 million. This wasn't just any 1981 penny. It was an incredibly rare error coin with a flawless grade that set it apart from anything else on the market. Its extreme rarity, combined with the demand for rare coins among collectors, created a perfect storm for this penny's enormous value. So, how do you know if you have one of these valuable 1981 pennies in your own collection? It all comes down to the mint mark and its condition. First, you'll want to check the mint mark closely. A legitimate 1981 S mint mark penny will have a clear S visible beneath the date on the front of the coin. Be sure to check for any wear and tear, as a penny in pristine condition will obviously be worth much more. Ideally, the coin should be graded at least MS 65 or higher, and the higher the grade, the more it will fetch at auction. A coin that receives a high grade means it has minimal scratches, dents, or signs of wear, making it more desirable to collectors. Coins graded 67 and above, especially for this rare 1981 error penny, have sold for staggering amounts, so if you find one, be sure to get it graded by a professional. If you think you've found one of these rare 1981 pennies, here's what you should do. First, don't immediately try to clean the coin. Cleaning can reduce its value significantly. Instead, take it to a certified coin dealer or a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC to have it evaluated. These professionals will assess the condition of the penny and assign it a grade. If it turns out to be a high-grade 1981 S error penny, you could have a piece of numismatic history on your hands. The collector's market for rare pennies is always evolving, and while most 1981 S pennies won't fetch millions of dollars, it's important to understand the current market conditions. Auction houses and private collectors are constantly on the lookout for rare and unique coins like these. So even if you don't hit the $3 million jackpot, a well-preserved 1981 S penny could still be worth thousands of dollars. So, there you have it, the 1981 mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny, an error coin that could be worth up to $3 million. Who would have thought that such a small, humble penny could be hiding such incredible value? Remember, coin collecting is all about being patient, knowledgeable, and knowing what to look for. If you have any 1981 pennies, make sure to inspect them carefully, and who knows, you might just find yourself holding a priceless treasure. Thanks for watching today's video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss a coin-related adventure. Do you have any rare pennies in your collection? Let us know in the comments below. Until next time, happy collecting! If you've ever dug through old coin jars, checked your change, or browsed through your collection hoping to find that one rare penny that could make you a fortune, you may want to pay close attention today. In this video, we're going to talk about a rare and exceptionally valuable coin that's been making waves in the coin collecting community. Yes, you read that right. Today, we're diving into the world of the 1982 D Lincoln 1-cent penny, and believe it or not, One of these pennies has been known to sell for a mind-boggling $4 million. Let's take a deep dive into this coin, its rarity, history, and what makes it so valuable. Now, you might be wondering, what's so special about a 1982 penny? It's a date most people associate with common, everyday pennies. But in the world of coin collectors, some 1982 pennies can be worth an absolute fortune. And it all revolves around a particular version of the coin, one that is known for an incredible error that makes it one of the most sought-after coins in history. Let's set the stage. In 1982, the U.S. Mint was transitioning from using the heavier copper to a lighter zinc composition for the production of pennies. For most of the year, pennies were made with this new zinc alloy, which caused a noticeable change in the weight and color of the coins. However, the transition wasn't smooth, and a small number of copper pennies were mistakenly struck using the new zinc planchets. These coins are extremely rare, and they hold a special place in the hearts of collectors, particularly the 1982 D variety. So, what exactly is it about the 1982 D penny that could make it worth so much? Well, first, let's talk about the concept of minting errors. A minting error occurs when something goes wrong during the production process, whether it's a die clash, double strike, or in this case, a wrong planchet error. The 1982 D penny that we're focusing on is a rare example of a copper penny struck on a zinc planchet, meaning a coin that was supposed to be made from a copper alloy was instead struck on a zinc planchet, causing the coin to be heavier, shinier, and just different enough to make it incredibly valuable. When collectors talk about rare coins, they often mean those with minting errors, like double strikes, off-center strikes, or in this case, a coin made from the wrong materials. The 1982 D penny, when struck on the wrong planchet, becomes an anomaly, and anomalies are what collectors crave. The market value for these coins has been skyrocketing because of how rare they are. According to reports from reputable sources in the numismatic world, a 1982 D copper penny struck on a zinc planchet can fetch an astonishing $4 million in the right circumstances. Let's break this down a little more. In 1982, the U.S. Mint produced more than 7 billion pennies, but only a tiny fraction of those were made with this minting error. According to estimates, there are less than a handful of these coins still in existence today. And because the error is so difficult to spot unless you're a trained professional, many people have held onto these pennies without realizing their value. If you happen to stumble upon one, you could be sitting on a small fortune. So, how do you spot one of these rare pennies? It's not as simple as looking at the year and the mint mark. The key to identifying these valuable 1982 D pennies is knowing what makes them different from the rest of the 1982 coins. First, check the weight. A regular 1982 D penny, struck on a zinc planchet, will weigh around 2.5 grams. The 1982 D copper penny, struck on the wrong planchet, will weigh around 3.1 grams, making it noticeably heavier. Next, check the color and appearance. The copper penny will have a reddish-brown tone, while the zinc penny is shinier, almost silvery in appearance. But again, it's the weight that will be the key to identifying this rare error. Also, don't forget the mint mark. The 1982 D penny was minted in Denver, and you'll find the D mint mark right under the date. If it's a copper penny that somehow made it onto the zinc planchet, it's an incredibly rare find. Now, let's talk about the most exciting part, the value. As of 2024, the value of a 1982 D copper penny struck on a zinc planchet can range from a few $1,000s to millions, depending on its condition and provenance. If a penny like this has been well preserved and graded by a reputable organization such as PCGS or NGC, it could easily sell for upwards of $4 million, with the highest known sale for a penny like this breaking records at auction. Just imagine, something as small and seemingly insignificant as a penny could turn into a life-changing windfall. But, of course, not all 1982 D pennies are created equal. The condition of the coin is extremely important. A well-preserved coin with minimal wear and tear, clear details, and no signs of corrosion will command the highest prices. So, what should you do if you think you've found one of these rare coins in your change or collection? First, get it properly authenticated. Many coin shops and professional graders specialize in identifying mint errors, and they can help determine if you have a true 1982 D copper penny struck on a zinc planchet. Next, have it graded. The higher the grade, the higher the value. Grading is based on a scale of 1 to 70, with coins in the 60s considered gem or MS 65 quality, meaning they are in near-perfect condition. If your 1982 D copper penny is graded in the upper 60s, you could be looking at a significant payday. While a $4 million sale might sound like a fairy tale, it's a real possibility in the right circumstances. Coins like these are a 1 in a million find, and if you happen to have one, you could be holding a piece of history. So, to sum up, the 1982 D. Lincoln 1-cent penny that was struck on a copper planchet instead of the intended zinc planchet is a coin that every serious collector and investor is watching. While most pennies from 1982 are worth just 1 cent, this mint error is worth an incredible amount of money, up to $4 million or more, depending on the condition and rarity of the coin. Have you ever come across a coin like this? Or maybe you've been looking through your collection for one. Let us know in the comments below. If you're new to coin collecting, make sure to hit that subscribe button for more coin-related content and tips. You won't want to miss any future videos that could help you uncover more hidden treasures in your collection. We're diving into one of the most fascinating coins ever minted, the 1993 D. Lincoln cent. But before you brush it off as just another penny, you'll want to stick around for this. This little piece of history could be worth up to $5 million, and we're about to tell you exactly why. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an exciting episode from the world of rare coins. The 1993 D. Lincoln cent, minted in Denver, is a seemingly ordinary penny that was struck during the early 90s. But it wasn't just another batch of copper-plated zinc pennies. It has become the subject of some of the most heated debates in numismatics. You see, one particular 1993 D penny is worth a lot more than just 1 cent. In fact, it could fetch up to $5 million if you know exactly what to look for. But how does a coin that's barely over 30 years old reach such an astronomical value? Well, it all starts with the rare occurrence of a minting error. The 1993 D. Lincoln penny is typically worth just 1 cent, like any other penny, but a small percentage of these coins were struck with a rare error, a double die. This minting error, which occurs during the die-making process, results in the coin being struck twice with the design, creating a distinctive double image. For this coin, that error showed up in the lettering and details of Abraham Lincoln's portrait. In normal minting processes, each coin is struck once by a die, but sometimes, the die strikes the coin more than once, or the die itself has a defect. In the case of the 1993 D, the second strike was slightly off-center, which created the double die effect. This made the coin look slightly distorted with extra details in the Lincoln portrait and the date. While errors like this aren't common, they do occasionally pop up in batches from certain minting years, and this was one of them. Now, finding a 1993 D penny with a double die isn't as easy as it sounds. These coins are incredibly rare. To put things into perspective, out of the billions of pennies struck that year, only a tiny fraction were affected by the error. So, while your average 1993 D penny is worth, well, 1 cent, this error coin has the potential to fetch some seriously big money. Cut to a shot of a coin expert in a well-lit coin shop, holding up a 1993 D double die penny and examining it with a magnifying glass. When you come across a 1993 D penny with this error, it's not just any ordinary find. Some of these coins have been sold at auctions for astronomical amounts. The most famous of them all sold for $5 million. Yes, $5 million, thanks to the unique characteristics of its error. This makes the 1993 D double die penny one of the most valuable modern coins ever discovered. Demand for rare coins has skyrocketed in recent years. This particular coin has become a prized collector's item. Auction houses have seen some of these pennies go for incredible sums. In 2021, a coin like this, in perfect condition, was sold for over $1 million. And as interest continues to build, we're now seeing some of the highest ever prices paid for a single example. The exact value of your 1993 D penny depends on its condition. Coins that show clear doubling of the design are the most valuable, but you need to make sure it has been preserved in the right way. Coins with minor wear and tear won't reach the $5 million mark, but they can still sell for hundreds of thousands of dollars, depending on the quality and visibility of the error. Now, let's talk about how you can spot a 1993 D double die penny. First, you'll want to look at the date. Examine the numbers carefully. If the coin shows signs of extra doubling, especially on the 9 or 3 of the date, you're looking at a potential gem. Next, pay attention to the lettering. The word liberty and the phrase "in God we trust" are the next places you'll want to check. If the letters appear to be slightly more pronounced or doubled, you may have a double die coin. Look closely at the details, because the doubling is often subtle but unmistakable once you know what to look for. Here's a tip. You don't need to have a professional magnifier to check your coins. A standard loupe or even a digital microscope can reveal the doubling. Just make sure to check the key areas like the date, the mint mark, and the lettering. The more obvious the doubling, the more valuable the coin. So, you found a 1993 D penny that seems to show some doubling. What should you do next? First, get your coin appraised by a professional. Coin dealers and numismatic experts can examine the coin and help you determine its authenticity and value. If your coin is indeed a genuine double die penny, it's time to get it certified by a grading service like PCGS or NGC. Once graded, your coin will receive a condition rating, known as a grade, ranging from poor to mint state 70. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin is. After grading, you can sell it at auction or through a trusted dealer. Just keep in mind that the rarity and quality of the error will greatly influence the final sale price. The 1993 D Lincoln cent with a double die is now considered a major rarity in the world of coin collecting. As time passes, the value of these coins continues to climb, and many experts believe this trend will continue for the foreseeable future. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or a casual collector, discovering one of these coins can change your life. So, next time you're flipping through your change, be sure to take a second look at any 1993 D pennies you come across. Who knows? You might just be holding onto a piece of history worth millions. Thanks for joining us today. If you learned something new about the 1993 D Lincoln cent, drop a comment below and let us know if you found any rare coins in your own collection. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with fellow coin enthusiasts. Until next time, keep hunting for those treasures and happy collecting. What if I told you that a simple penny, something most of us throw away without a second thought, could be worth millions of dollars? Well, buckle up, because today we're diving into the fascinating world of rare coins, and we have a special one in the spotlight. The 1996 mint Mark Lincoln 1-cent penny. History buffs and curious minds, if you've ever wondered about those pennies you find in your pocket change, you're not alone. Most of us assume that modern pennies aren't worth much. After all, they're only worth 1 cent, right? But sometimes, you just might have a rare gem on your hands without even knowing it. Today, we're talking about a coin that might look ordinary to the untrained eye but is currently worth a mind-blowing $6 million on the market, the 1996 Lincoln 1-cent with the rare mint mark. This isn't just any regular penny from 1996. This is a rare variety that has captivated collectors, dealers, and numismatists alike. But before we get into the specifics, let's take a step back and learn a little about the history of the Lincoln cent and the significance of its mint marks. The Lincoln cent was first introduced in 1909, designed by sculptor Victor David Brenner. It was created to commemorate the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. For over a century, the penny has remained a staple in American currency. In fact, it's the longest-running coin design in U.S. history, with the image of Lincoln's face gracing the obverse, or front, of the coin ever since its introduction. The reverse side of the coin has undergone several design changes over the years, from the wheat ears on the 1909 to 1958 pennies to the Lincoln Memorial, which appeared from 1959 until 2008. Today, the penny features the Union Shield design. However, throughout its long history, certain years have produced rarer variations due to minting errors or limited production, and these can be worth far more than just 1 cent. Now, you may be wondering, what exactly is a mint mark, and why does it matter so much? In the world of numismatics, the mint mark is a small letter on the coin that indicates where it was minted. The most common mint marks in the U.S. are D for Denver, S for San Francisco, and no mint mark at all, which signifies that the coin was produced at the Philadelphia Mint. The mint mark helps collectors trace a coin's origins, and in some years, certain mint marks are much rarer than others. In the case of the 1996 penny, the value comes from a very specific error linked to the minting process. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. We'll dive into the mint mark mystery shortly. This mistake, though small, created a huge demand among coin collectors. The 1996 D mint mark on a penny that should not have had it instantly set off alarms for numismatists, and the hunt was on for this error coin. And here's the kicker. If you happen to have one of these rare 1996 pennies with a clear mint mark error, you're sitting on a small fortune. You might be wondering, how much could a penny really be worth? Well, when it comes to rare error coins, the value can be astronomical. The specific 1996 penny with the D mint mark error has been known to fetch prices well above face value. In fact, one particular 1996 Lincoln cent with this minting flaw has been sold for an astounding $6 million. That's right, $6 million for a penny. But why is it so valuable? First off, this is an extremely rare error. It's estimated that only a handful of these pennies exist in circulation today, and their scarcity makes them highly desirable. On top of that, collectors love the mystery and story behind such a unique coin. When you combine rarity, historical significance, and demand, you get a coin that can command an astronomical price. So, how can you tell if you have one of these rare pennies? First, start by carefully inspecting the mint mark on the obverse of the coin. The 1996 penny with a D mint mark error should have the D placed clearly on the front, just below the date. The key here is that this D should not exist on a coin struck in Philadelphia. It's the D that sets this penny apart and makes it so valuable. But that's not all. To confirm the authenticity and rarity of your coin, you should have it professionally graded by a reputable numismatic grading service. Grading companies will assess the condition of your coin, from the level of wear to any damage or imperfections. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin can be, so it's crucial to get a proper evaluation before jumping to any conclusions. If you believe you've stumbled upon a rare 1996 penny with a mint mark error, you might be wondering where to sell it. There are several avenues for selling rare coins, including coin shops, auction houses, or online marketplaces like eBay. But remember, always work with reputable dealers who specialize in rare coins to ensure you get the best price. If you're looking to sell a coin for a high price, like this $6 million penny, an auction house is usually the best bet. Auctions often attract serious collectors and investors who are willing to pay top dollar for rare, high-grade coins. Coin collecting is a rewarding and exciting hobby. While rare coins like the 1996 mint mark error penny are exceptional, the world of numismatics is full of hidden treasures just waiting to be discovered. Whether you're a seasoned collector or a beginner, there's always something new to learn and uncover in the world of rare coins. In the case of the 1996 penny, it's a testament to how a tiny mistake during the minting process can turn an ordinary coin into an extraordinary treasure. So, the next time you find a penny in your change, don't just toss it aside. Take a closer look. You might just be holding on to a small fortune. Who knows? Your next penny could be worth millions. Thanks for watching, and happy hunting! If you're a coin collector, enthusiast, or simply someone who loves a good treasure hunt, you're in for a real treat today. We're diving deep into the fascinating world of the 2020 Lincoln 1-cent penny. This coin, which you might think is just another everyday penny, has a mind-blowing story behind it. We're talking about a potential market value of up to $7 million. Yes, you heard that right, millions of dollars. Stick around because by the end of this video, you might just be checking your change more carefully than ever before. Let's jump into it. Now, when we think about pennies, most of us picture those copper-colored coins that have been circulating for decades. But in the world of coin collecting, some pennies are worth far more than their face value. Today, we're focusing on the 2020 Lincoln 1-cent penny, and let me tell you, this coin has become one of the most intriguing and valuable pennies in the modern market. So, why is it worth so much? Let's explore. First, let's take a step back and look at the history of the Lincoln 1-cent penny. This iconic coin has been in circulation since 1909, making it one of the longest-running designs in U.S. coin history. The coin features the famous portrait of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, with the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. The 2020 version, however, has an interesting twist. While the basic design has remained consistent, the 2020 pennies introduced new mint marks and some surprising variations that made coin collectors sit up and take notice. Normally, pennies are worth just 1 cent. But when you dig into the world of numismatics, also known as the study of coins and currency, you start to realize that certain errors or rare variations can skyrocket a coin's value. And that's exactly what happened with some of the 2020 pennies. The 2020 penny is significant for a couple of key reasons. First, in 2020, the U.S. Mint began using a new mint mark to denote the specific location where the coin was struck. This was part of an effort to update the penny's production process and increase accuracy in tracking where each penny was made. However, what coin collectors didn't expect was that some of these pennies would contain rare errors or subtle design variations that made them extremely valuable. Let's take a look at the mint marks first. In 2020, pennies were struck at the Philadelphia Mint, no mint mark, the Denver Mint, D mint mark, and the West Point Mint, W mint mark. But it's the West Point pennies that have caught the attention of collectors. In fact, some 2020 pennies from the West Point Mint were accidentally released into circulation without the W mint mark, making them highly sought after. Now, before we get into the specifics of these rare errors, let's quickly touch on why this coin has become a big deal in the coin collecting world. Typically, the U.S. Mint marks coins with a letter that indicates where it was made. For example, D stands for Denver and P for Philadelphia. But the W mint mark was historically only used on special proof coins, which were never released into general circulation. So, seeing a W mint mark on a 2020 penny raised a lot of eyebrows. Now imagine this. Pennies struck at the West Point Mint were supposed to be exclusively proof coins for collectors. But some of these W-marked coins slipped through the cracks and ended up in regular circulation. The idea of finding one of these rare W pennies in your pocket change has turned into an exciting opportunity for collectors. Here's where things get really interesting. A few years back, the U.S. Mint decided to produce a limited number of W mint mark pennies for collectors. These coins were not supposed to be released into the general public, but due to an error, some of them were. And while most collectors focus on coins with obvious flaws, the 2020 W pennies had something else that made them stand out: rarity. Not only are these W mint mark pennies rare, but they're also highly desirable because of their unique history. The U.S. Mint had never produced W pennies before, so when they hit the public, they caused a stir in the numismatic world. Many collectors started paying huge sums of money for these pennies, and some were lucky enough to find them in their pocket change. The value of these W pennies can range from a few $100s to over $7 million, depending on the coin's condition and rarity. Now, it's important to understand that not every 2020 penny with a W mint mark is worth a fortune. The condition of the coin, what collectors call its grade, is extremely important when determining its value. A penny in pristine condition, with sharp details and minimal wear, will obviously fetch a higher price than one that's been heavily circulated. So, how can you tell if you have one of these rare 2020 W pennies in your pocket change? Well, it's actually pretty simple once you know what to look for. The first thing to check is the mint mark on the reverse of the coin. If you spot a small W above the Lincoln Memorial, that's your clue that this is a coin made at the West Point Mint. But remember, the coin also has to be in good condition, and it has to be one of those rare, undetected errors. Now, a crucial thing to note is that these W pennies from 2020 were part of a special series, and they weren't mass-produced for general circulation. The U.S. Mint made a limited number of them, and that scarcity is what drives their value up. Many coin collectors who specialize in error coins are particularly eager to get their hands on these rare examples. Okay, let's answer the big question. Why are these 2020 W pennies worth so much? Well, first of all, the rarity factor plays a huge role. The fact that only a few of these coins made it into circulation, combined with the high demand from collectors, means they are worth a lot more than you might expect. But what really drives their value is the story behind them. Rare, unexpected coins like these have a built-in intrigue that collectors love. Additionally, coin values are often driven by market trends. The value of rare coins like the 2020 W penny can fluctuate based on demand, the number of coins that are available, and even collector sentiment. Some collectors are willing to pay millions for these coins, especially if they are in near-perfect condition or have a significant error. So, you've found one of these rare 2020 W pennies. What should you do next? First off, get it properly evaluated by a professional numismatist. They'll be able to assess the coin's authenticity, condition, and overall market value. If you're lucky enough to have a high-quality coin, you might want to auction it off through a reputable auction house or even consider selling it through specialized online coin markets. And there you have it, a look at the rare 2020 W Mint Mark Lincoln 1-cent penny and its fascinating journey from a simple penny to a potential $7 million treasure. If you've got any of these coins in your pocket, it might be time to start inspecting your change more closely. Who knows? You could be sitting on a gold mine without even realizing it. Thanks for tuning in, and be sure to subscribe for more coin collecting tips and valuable insights. Happy hunting, and good luck finding your next big find.